From the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, 6th century BC. Do you think you can take over the universe and improve it? I do not believe it can be done. The universe is sacred. You cannot improve it. If you try to change it, you will ruin it. From Aristotle, 350 BC. The ultimate end is not knowledge, but action. To be half right on time may be more important than to obtain the whole truth too late. I've read that one twice, and that's because it pertains to climate change and lots of other things. From Mark Terry, who was an ecologist in the 20th century, environmental awareness is sensory awareness. There is a joy in awareness, in interaction with the aesthetics of the environment. We cut ourselves off from that joy with every convenience that mechanically intervenes between us and the environment. From Henry David Thoreau. The finest qualities of our natures, like the bloom on fruit, are preserved only by the most delicate of handling. From David Attenborough, now Sir David Attenborough, from Life on Earth. We have no moral right to destroy other living organisms. The Earth may be the only place in the universe where life exists. Its survival now rests in our hands. From Haywood Brown, a writer in the early 20th century. They told me that fish cared very little and that they were cold-blooded and felt no pain. But they were not fish who told me this. From Ambrose Bierce's The Devil's Dictionary. Gold, a definition. Noun, a yellow metal, greatly prized for its convenience in the various kinds of robbery known as trade. The word was formerly spelled G-O-D. The L was inserted to distinguish it from the name of another and inferior deity. Yes, just a moment. From Cynthia Wayburn, an environmentalist and author in the 20th century. Yes, atomic war is possible, but more likely we will continue to lose our humanness as our vitality, spirit, and strength are insidiously sapped by devices of our own creation. At what point will we, as defined today, be extinct? From Jacques Cousteau, oceanographer. It is infuriating to me that the governments plot to use scientists to retard action. They say, we can't act before we know, and please work, here's money, to the scientists, only to gain time. Scientists have to revolt against this. We have to act first and measure later. From Mark Terry, ecologist. So much can be learned about the environment, yourself, and other individuals by taking the time to be aware, simply to listen, without comment, movement, self-distraction, or later discussion, can be the most informative of experiences. From Monty Python's Life of Brian. Pray that there's intelligent life somewhere up in space, 'cause there's bugger all down here on Earth. From Albert Einstein. 100 times every day, I remind myself that my inner and outer life are based on the labors of other men and women, living and dead, and that I must exert myself in order to give in the same measure as I have received and am receiving. From Marcus Aurelius, Private Diary, Emperor of Rome in the 1st century AD. Men exist for the sake of one another. Teach them then, or bear with them. From The Troubles with Lichen by John Wyndham. Diana had accepted as an article of faith the proposition that knowledge was no less a gift of God than life itself, from which it followed that the suppression of knowledge was a sin against the light. The seeker after knowledge did not seek for himself. He was under a special commandment to deliver to all men whatever he might be privileged to learn. And from Henry David Thoreau again, from Walden, I seek acquaintance with nature, to know her moods and manners. Primitive nature is the most interesting to me. I take infinite pains to know all the phenomenon of spring, for instance, thinking that I have here the entire poem. And then, to my chagrin, I learn that it is but an imperfect copy that I possess and have read, that my ancestors have torn out many of the finest leaves and grandest passages and have mutilated it in many places. I should not like to think that some demigod has come before me and picked out some of the best stars. I wish to know an entire heaven and an entire earth.